Welcome back into Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday, August 13th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside. And we're joined now by Charles Scott, head football coach of Huguenot High School on this Wednesday morning. Coach Scott, thank you so much for taking some time out of your morning to chat with us.
Yes, sir. How you doing this morning?
Doing well, doing well. Want to know, how's camp going? How's it all going with the heat and getting ready for that week 1 game in just over 2 weeks?
Camp is going great. We haven't got hit with the heat. I mean, maybe the last 2 days were probably the hottest days of camp. But other than that, we've been doing well. Haven't got really hit with the heat, so it's been pretty good.
So with that game out 2 weeks or so away against St. Christopher's, what are the expectations around the team heading into that game?
And the expectations are obviously to start the season on a winning streak. Obviously, go 1-0. You know, as everybody's saying nowadays, 1-0 every week, obviously. But just to execute, man. Just to work on, continues to execute well, and that's really the goal, is to execute at a high clip. Obviously, our goal is when we go back and grade film, as we want to grade as many A's as possible on film. Obviously, it's hard to do that, but that's the goal. So we're shooting for that goal. So everybody's grading out at a 90 or better. That means we probably executed pretty well that week.
What's been standing out about your team so far in camp?
Man, obviously team speed, man. We're a very fast team. Obviously running the same system we ran the last couple of years, so it hasn't been a lot of the learning curve hasn't been crazy. Obviously we introduced a new quarterback, but at the end of the day, he's been in the system pretty much his whole life. So I mean, really, man, we're just a really fast team. Defense is gonna be fast and violent. Offense is gonna be fast and explosive. So I love our team speed. Off-season program was great. We definitely got bigger, stronger, and we got faster. I thought we was fast last year, but I think we're really, really fast this year.
Charles Scott, head football coach of Huguenot High School, joining us on this Wednesday morning. Coach Scott, talk a little bit more about that quarterback position. You said first-year starter. How is that coming along with the system, with a guy who's been there before, but maybe first year having the pressure and expectations of being the starter?
Well, I mean, one of the things about it, he's a leader, obviously in stature, but definitely leads the team as well. I don't think it's going to be a big curve for him. It's a guy who has been playing high school for 2 years. You got to remember, he played high school as an 8th grader. Then he played again last year as a 9th grader. As a starter, starting games he started, he's 19-0 in high school. So he knows how to win. The guys believe in him. They trust him. We practice together as far as varsity and JV. So you got to think he's been practicing with varsity guys as an 8th grader too. So again, just the way we do things, we practice JV and varsity. We practice together. So at the end of the day, the trust is there, the leadership is there, and I think he's kind of chomping at the bit to kind of to show what he can do.
Yeah, last year you guys, MaxPreps had you ranked as the 15th best team in Virginia, one of the highest rankings in program history, one of the highest rankings for schools around the Richmond area. With a new quarterback there and everything, but it seems like there's a lot of expected greatness with this team. How do you make sure that you stay near the top and then also keep growing and pushing forward?
Well, I invest a lot in the youth, and like I said, my JV practice with us, so you got to think they're getting the same level of coaching that a varsity program will get. They're not, on the side 5 fields over where you can barely see them and you don't know what's going on with them. So I definitely understand that the young guys are the future of the program, but we also, are invested in the guys that's right now. So for me, I always tell my guys, let's do this for your seniors. Because your seniors don't have next year, you know what I'm saying? So let's do this for your seniors. So that's kind of how we do it. But again, we invest in the young guys as well.
Charles Scott, head football coach of Huguenot High School, joining us this morning. Coach Scott, take us back a little bit. Is the investment in the youth been the key to that turnaround? Because in 21 and 22, I think this team had a combined 2 wins over those 2 seasons. Since then, 19 wins combined in 23 and 24. Has been that investment in the youth the key to that turnaround that you guys have seen at Huguenot?
I think so, because when we came in, we started a lot of young guys. So now we have juniors now who's been starting since we got there. So that means they were 2-year starters. This will be their 3rd year starting. I wasn't afraid to play the young guys. I had some of the guys that obviously played with me in youth ball, so they kind of knew how I coached and what the expectations would be. They kind of knew the system. So that helped with the transition for sure. But again, we're not scared to play young guys, and we'll definitely do that. We're going to play the best guys for sure. So I think that's one of the keys, absolutely.
So getting those players in your system that are now going into being a third-year starter, how important is that experience at the high school level? Because in college, you've got NIL, you've got the transfer portal, you've got all that. But in high school, you've got them for 4 years, that's it. How important is it to have a team of guys that have experience, that have been starters, that know the culture, that know all of that?
Well, it's big time, and it helps with, like you said, like even like games like going into week 1 and St. Christopher, things like that. The guys know how to prepare. They know what their favorite meal the night before is. They know what they like to do. They have their routine set. So you don't get a lot of that nervous energy. It's more of excitement instead of being nervous. You see what I'm saying? So I think that experience that they have will go a long way because, again, they've done it for the past couple of years. So, like I said, going into this year, it's more excitement and anticipation instead of nervousness and unsureness.
Coach, I got to know, are you the superstitious type? Do you have the same meal? You said your players, they know what they like to have the night before and everything. Do you kind of fit in that routine as well? Are you superstitious with what you got to have the night before the day of game and everything like that?
I'm not really superstitious in that way. I kind of do the same thing, every game day. I go to the barbershop in the morning. Then I go to lunch, whether it be with my offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, some of my coaches. I go to lunch, take me a little nap, and then head on to the field.
I love it. Charles Scott, head football coach of Huguenot High School, joining us on this Wednesday morning. Coach Scott, kind of overall with Richmond City, they took a pretty big step forward in football. Armstrong, y'all, TJ. What do you think the reason was for those schools and for Richmond City itself taking a pretty substantial step forward in terms of success on the football field?
Yeah, well, you touched on it earlier. What you see is an investment in the youth programs, man. There's a lot of good investing in the kids, and when they're sending them up, they're already prepared. They have a good foundation, should I say. So I think that's what you're seeing. You're starting to see some of the hard work of these youth football programs and youth football coaches starting to trickle in into the city schools.
And how important do you think it is it for Richmond City kind of as a whole to have competitive football teams year in and year out? I know you aren't all in the same division, the same region and things of that sort, but how important for Richmond City itself to have successful programs in the city?
It's important because, again, it's about community and community pride. And like I said, you might have heard me say before, I'm really big on energy. A good football program can bring positive energy into an entire community. So then when you talk about crime or violence and things like that, it's always much research that's been done that, if you got good football programs and the community's feeling their way, then all of those numbers decline.
Charles Scott, head football coach of Huguenot High School, joining us. Coach Scott, looking at the schedule this year, you got St. Chris first, but a pretty impressive schedule from there on out. How'd you put it together? How are you feeling about it in terms of the tests it's going to provide your team week in and week out as you look ahead to the playoffs?
Well, the thing about it is I wish I could put it together more, but I don't. We're in the old school Dominion district, so I have 9 games that's locked on my schedule every year that I can't change. I have to play those same 9 games every year, so I have one game that I have a little leeway with, and like I said, this year was St. Christopher. But the thing about it is our district is tough, so at the end of the day, it gets us prepared for the playoffs.
Coach, thank you so much for taking some time out of your Wednesday morning, chat a little bit about Huguenot High School. Good luck this season. Excited to see what you guys do in week 1 against St. Christopher.
I appreciate it.